The power outages made us realize quickly how much we've all come to rely on electricity.
No power meant businesses couldn't serve customers, drivers had to dodge each other at traffic lights, and folks on food stamps had to wait in long lines to replace spoiled food.
We're at the intersection of Wilmington and Patterson in Dayton, and this scene is being repeated in dozens and dozens of other intersections all across the Miami Valley. No power, no stoplights, and it makes for a potentially dangerous situation. By law, drivers are supposed to treat any intersection without power and without stoplights as a four-way stop. As you can see, drivers are better at it than others. While some came to a complete stop, others just roll through, making for a nerve-wracking experience, especially for people trying to make a turn. Here, the city set up a few stop signs in the street, and that seems to help. For intersections, people need without
Absolutely. People are taking no regard. I mean, you roll through one of these intersections at 40 miles an hour and somebody bad.
There's no telling we'll be out here and at other intersections. In the daylight, it's bad enough. But if this continues through nightfall again tonight, well, that's much worse. Once again, when the power's out of the intersection, remember to treat it like a four-way stop. Approach it very carefully, cautiously. You should be able to make it through just fine. In Dayton, Jim Oddie, News Center 7.
Kettering, I'm sorry, we're closed.
Lack of power has taken a bite out of Big Boy.
Frisch's Kettering, I'm sorry, we're closed.
The Frisch's restaurant on Wilmington Avenue lost power Sunday afternoon. Jan Abel is the manager. About all he's managing this week
Frisch's Kettering, I'm sorry, we're closed.
Is the phone.
Correct, we have no power.
He walks us through the darkened kitchen to show us the huge but empty walk-in refrigerator.
That'll be the first thing we do is clean out.
Where about 20% of the restaurant's food had to be tossed.
We had to get rid of some blueberry muffins, a few of the produce, lettuce, some of the milk.
Normally, these booths are bustling with customers ordering soup, salad, and sandwich. But right now, there's no fresh food to be had and no server to even take my order. This Frisch's employs about 60 people, from cooks and servers to clerks and dishwashers.
Do you want to work in another store?
Jan says they all have an opportunity to work at other Frisch's.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be near as much as the hours that they would work here, but they're getting something.
And our office is right over here.
Home health care nurse Cheryl Young works right around the corner and stops here often for lunch. Did you miss it?
Yeah, I did, because I was really looking for my Big Boy sandwich.
Frisch's Kettering, I'm sorry, we're closed.
Once the restaurant does get power, it could take 8 to 12 hours to get it ready to reopen. Until then, Jan Abel will be repeating a now familiar refrain.
Frisch's Kettering, I'm sorry, we're closed.
Convention Center, where you can see behind me a lot of people outside right now waiting to apply for new or replacement food stamps because of the food that they've lost from this power outage. But the people you see here, the line, this is nothing compared to what it was like earlier today. The line wrapped around the building.
I knew there was a lot of people without power, but not this many.
Hundreds hungry.
Not being able to cook or nothing, just it was bad.
All these people arrived at the convention center this morning up for the food stamps that'll help replenish their refrigerators.
In the refrigerator, milk, lunch meat, butter that's melted,
steaks, chicken, fish, everything. If you got food stamps in September, you're eligible to get replacement food stamps for all the food that is spoiled in your refrigerator.
New food stamp applicants can apply too, but be prepared to wait.
We're hoping to have the replacement food stamps processed within 7 to 10 days.
That's because the job center is out of power too. Employees are going to process the paperwork. Once that's complete, food stamp cards will automatically receive credits. In Dayton, Jill Del Greco.
Yet so far away.
We're going on 6 here, so
Here on Roanoke Avenue, the east side is living in 2008. The west side, well, it looks like the early 1800s. Carol Catanese is living the high life.
It turned on. It was wonderful.
She got power back Tuesday.
Could be a lot worse.
But the only power her neighbor John across the street has is the reflection of her light bouncing off his door. A romantic evening.
You know, one side of the street has power, the other side doesn't. Feel a little...
Utter darkness.
That's enough. I'm ready to get electricity back on.
We hear you, John. Thousands of us can relate to what you're going through. Still, he's keeping it all in perspective.
Yes, you know, we'll get through it. It's not going to be the end of the world, and, you know, we can survive.
At least he has his hot water and those squeaky floors and this old home charm.
You never know. I just feel somebody up there is watching out for part of us, and he's going to take care of the rest of us.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
Communication is crucial in any case. This one was no different.
Local media become critical information links, and when the power is out, it's mostly radio. The windstorm knocked WHIO 1290 AM off the air for about 20 minutes. Then emergency power systems kicked in at the transmitter site in Kettering and at the building WHIO radio and television share in Dayton.
Good afternoon.
By mid-afternoon, while the wind was still howling outside and the seriousness of the storm was still unknown, 1290 Radio was doing special reports every few minutes. By 7:30 p.m., the radio station was in continuous coverage.
People, when they don't have the ability to watch television or get on the internet and see things, they're turning that radio on and listening for information.
Radio passed along more than official information. People whose telephones still worked shared news, ideas, and questions. It was a human connection during an anxious time.
It's like a lifeline to people. They need information. They're starving for it. We get phone calls asking, when am I going to get water? When am I going to get my power back? Are they going to pick up this bunch of leaves on my street? And they're concerned about their neighbors, too.
There's lots of debris.
In the same building, WHIO TV, News Center 7, was in emergency mode, too. We added and expanded newscasts, broke into programming, and constantly ran critical information across the bottom of our screen. Keeping our website, WHIOTV.com, updated is always a top priority. And we established an emergency telephone hotline with the latest information available 24 hours a day. Every day, as more people got their power back and cable TV systems were repaired, more folks were watching News Center 7 for emergency information once again.
If your preparations for the next emergency include a battery-operated television set that doesn't require cable service, here are some ideas. Make sure your battery-operated TV receives digital signals. You'll need a digital TV to get WHIO and other Dayton regional stations over the air after February 17th. Battery-operated TV sets that receive digital signals are still rare, but they're available at some local stores beginning at about $200 each. Or for about $100, you can buy a digital TV tuner for your laptop computer. It's about the size of a USB travel drive, and it'll let you watch over-the-air television on your laptop. Just make sure it receives digital signals. You can recharge your laptop batteries from your car. As the days without power dragged on, 2 weeks for some, it tested people's patience and prompted some to protest. Stories of frustration when we return.
Recover in your own home with Choice Healthcare's dependable registered nurses who can manage your medications, administer IV therapy,